Hello, everybody, and sorry we're a bit late in terms of the actual match, but it was all a bit last-minute decision, and I'm going to bring you some breaking news regarding this match. Coco Gauff has just double faulted, and therefore Garcia has seized an early lead, 2-love. Before I come to my guests, Jack and Nick, for their thoughts on Coco Gauff and certain things regarding her, I've said it a couple of times throughout the tournament. I almost get the impression, Nick, I get the impression that she'd rather just face serve.
Yeah, I would say so too. I mean, let's face it, Gauff struggles with particular second serve, but serving in general has dogged her whole career. Even when we saw her stun the world at Wimbledon, aged 15, I mean, it'll get better as she develops, but right now, I would probably agree with that assessment that she's a much more competent returner than the server. But that will come with time.
Some things before I come to you, Jack. Some things from Pam Shriver just before they took to the court. Oh, actually, as they took to the court, and she was courtside during the warm-up. She did say that Coco Gauff hadn't landed a single serve in during the warm-up, and it's a warm-up, so whatever. But it did make me think about the Gauff and the double faults, and I've said it, as I say, throughout the tournament that I just think she returned so well, and the backhand especially, that she'd rather just give up the serve all the time at the moment. And I remember her winning one particular match after failing, I think, to serve it out. I think may well have been a double fault, and then I think went to a tiebreak that she ended up winning. I think that was in straight sets early on in the tournament. But Garcia has settled really well and really quickly. Jack, what are your thoughts on this match?
Yeah, before the match, I'm swaying to and fro on who I would pick as the winner. Garcia is hitting the ball great though, and I was kind of thinking it was a toss-up between either player for who was hitting the ball the best throughout the tournament. But the way Garcia is hitting the forehands, as we've just seen there, has been insanely good. And it started as a small worry, the fact that Garcia could rush Gauff's forehand with her own forehand, but now sort of seeing the match transpire, it's turning into a bigger worry. It's really going to be difficult for Gauff to stay alive, trading shots from that wing. So I wonder if Garcia has the advantage overall.
Something Pam Shriver also said in the so I'm leaning on Pam Shriver here, sorry, but something she also said as she was courtside during the warm-up was just seeing how even during the sort of practice rally that they were having in the warm-up, how inside the baseline she was and how aggressive that she's been throughout the tournament, Garcia. And tonight being no different. So just to give everyone an update, it's currently 2-love Garcia and 30 all here on the Garcia serve. So Gauff trying to fight her way back into this match. I've gone for a Gauff win, Nick, but of course the way this match has started, I'm feeling less confident.
I went with Garcia to win. We said this in the live chat about an hour ago when you decided to go on a stream with an hour to spare, even though you're not eating dinner yet. I was going with Garcia because she has the better pre-US Open form. She has the better tournament form because although she and Gauff are the only ones left in the women's draw who haven't dropped a set yet. She's dropped fewer games than Gauff and generally looks a little bit more comfortable in her matches than Gauff from observing.
Yep.
And this is playing out now. Like, she's definitely hitting a lot more confidently. Yes, Gauff is a fighter, but I think it comes down to, I think Garcia's got the better serve and probably better return right now. I think the only thing that will stop her is if the New York crowd gets to her, which so far doesn't seem to be happening. I don't have the sound on.
What a point,
Nick.
Oh
my God.
Nick, you keep an eye on this point because you were about midway through it, no doubt.
I loved it.
Jack, what about that for a point?
That was mental, yeah. The way Gauff was able to stay in the rally, full stop, that was crazy, yeah. I'd love to see more rallies like that. Very Gauff-esque there. And Garcia can keep hitting it like that as well. Poof.
Gauff was sort of hanging on in there at various points. I think she did just sort of chase down a backhand cross court that she went as big as she could on it, but it was really easy, I guess, or quite easy for Garcia to read, and as a result, got her racket on it comfortably. And but it was just end to end, if that is such an expression in tennis. That point.
Yeah, definitely. I'm going to sort of just back up what Nick was saying there about it, Garcia having the more comfortable time. The one stat that I noticed that really sticks out is how often Garcia has been holding serve She was only broken twice in her 4 matches. They were both against Andreescu, I'm pretty sure. So that's 33 of 35 service games held. It's really, really difficult to serve her this week, just the way she's been placing her first serve in particular. Second only to Pegula in first serve points won for players remaining in the tournament. So it's going to be tough for Gauff to break serve.
Jack, thanks for that. Did you say she's only been broken twice in the whole tournament? That is impressive. I mean, that is impressive because how often... I mean, I watched Sabalenka against Collins last night. They were breaking each other at will, basically. So I think that is extremely impressive from Garcia. Maybe it's just because... listen, Nick, one counter argument that I think I posited earlier was just that at least Gauff has been to a major final, albeit I think it's just the one. I don't even remember her being in a semi-final apart from this year's Roland Garros when, as I say, she did get to the final. But Garcia, has she been in a semi before? I don't think she has.
No, the furthest she's been is quarterfinals. I believe at Wimbledon and possibly one other tournament. That's off the top of my head. Definitely Wimbledon.
Just the one quarterfinal, Nick.
Okay, and that was at Wimbledon in 2017. I think. I don't know who she lost to. But yeah, so this is this is the furthest she's ever gone on a slam. She is a 3-time 1,000 winner on the WTA tour. So that still involves winning 5 or 6 matches to get to kind of a similar stage against a similar standard of opponents. So I would say getting to a Grand Slam semi-final is just as if not slightly less impressive than doing that. So I have no doubt that she could get to a Grand Slam final. It's a bigger result. It's a bigger stage. But I think the way Garcia is at the moment, I think she can handle that.
Wow.
Gauff does have slightly more experience, but it's very recent experience.
Yeah, of course, yeah. I mean, she's really only been on the scene for 4 years, really, since that, or 3 years since she beat Venus Williams at Wimbledon in 2019. Garcia's already taken a 15-love lead here, so it's obviously love 15 because it's on the Gauff serve. Gauff can ill afford to, of course, go a double break down. That would be a pretty serious deficit for her to recover. Gauff goes in for the serve here. It's a second serve because she's gone long. How concerned are you, Jack, about these double faults from Gauff?
It's not been a problem throughout the tournament, to be honest.
Oh, so, there we go, double fault. Love 30.
You jinxed it there, John. Hopefully this is a one set and a get out of your system sort of thing. It's not been a problem so far. I trust her to rally and bring the serve back to reality, hopefully, John, I would say.
Garcia having won 8 of the last 10 points. It's love 3 and love 30 against, but that's a nice ace there down the tee from Coco Gauff, bringing up 15-30. Yeah, so perhaps it was Gauff bringing us the attention, or bringing us to the attention of her double faults before the tournament with a very cute tweet that she said, like, making fun of her own double faults, that perhaps it's made us, or made me in particular, a little bit deceived by the fact that she's not double faults. Look how aggressive Garcia is on that return position, though. She's about a meter inside the baseline. Is that double fault? Yeah, it is a double fault. 15-40. 2 double faults in this game alone. 3 in total. The previous one obviously costing her the previous break of serve. I'll do a point-by-point commentary, or whatever you call it, a live commentary as this point occurs. So first serve, Coco Gauff. Is she going to get this one in? Yes, because she gets a net cord. So it's still the first serve for Coco, and she'll be desperate to get a first serve in on it here. 15-40 down, threatening to go a double breakdown. And she gets the first serve in. She's on the backhand. She goes aggressive. Of course she does. And she wins the point 30-40, forcing the long error there from Garcia. 30-40 now, Jack. Any thoughts?
That was, really nice backhand there, I got to say. Yeah, Garcia, that's our sort of trademark on return of serve. Will step very far in. I think it's very important of Gauff to think about using the body serve on second serve when she starts landing it, if she starts landing it.
Yeah, forehand from Gauff to the backhand of Garcia. Forehand Gauff, backhand Garcia. Backhand Gauff as Garcia comes into the net. Don't think that's good enough, though. Gauff goes long. Oof. It wasn't good enough from Garcia, but Gauff basically with more or less a whole court to aim at, quite close into the net, goes long. Love 4, Nick. Love 4.
Yeah, I mean, I wasn't expecting this. I thought it might be a bit more of a contest, but I think the key here, to be honest, is that Garcia's, kind of like Jack was kind of touching on, is Garcia's return. is what's getting it in the points. Like, even though it may not look like she's being able to fully attack every serve, she's getting it back, even on first serves. And I think that's critical to her success. And I think it is probably rattling Gauff a little bit. And then she's been really secure on her own serve. So I think that's been the key today, is how excellent returning so far in these first 4 games.
I think that's a good point there. I think Gauff is a bit rattled at the moment. I think even just listen, whether she wins this set or not is, of course, it's material. But I do think it would be good for her to get back into this match somehow. So even with a break of serve, but she only loses at, say, 6-4 or something like that. That's a great return from Gauff there. Love 15, exactly the sort of thing that she needs to be produced. And maybe now at love 4 down, she can just kind of relax and just get into the match. And like I say, I mean, sometimes we can see momentum swings even when you end up losing the set. I remember, for example, Djokovic really wrestling the match from Nadal in 2021 in the semi-final, when basically Djokovic still lost that first set, but he basically swung the momentum by going from 5-love to 5-3. I'll come to you in a second, Jack, because we've got a backhand cross court here, going backhand to backhand from Garcia, clips the net cord, gets a bit lucky there, and as a result, perhaps Gauff goes long, 15-all, Jack.
Yeah, no, I know the match you mean there, the French Open one between Djokovic and Nadal. Yeah, you're quite right. It's important just to make sure you show your opponent you're here to actually compete. Certainly, breaking serve as well would be a massive deal. I think just to put a little bit of a seed of doubt in Garcia's head. Her first serve is looking untouchable at the moment, so really important just to win some points there at least.
Garcia going for the forehand there of Gauff's with that serve and winning the point 30-15. Is it fair to say that Gauff's forehand is a weakness, Nick, do you think?
I would prefer to throw that question at Jack, because his technical knowledge is far more superior than mine.
Go on, Jack. What do you think about that?
You see more errors coming from it, but I think I'd prefer to hear Jack on this.
Go on.
She has trouble sort of being offensive on it for sure. It's still a really good defensive weapon, to be fair, and she can come up with a lot of variety on it. It's not a weakness so much as it is for other players maybe, and it certainly looked a lot better at this tournament than it has in recent tournaments in the past. So at this stage, I wouldn't call it a weakness so much, but it's the weaker wing. Definitely.
One thing you highlighted there, Jack, is her defense has been incredible during this tournament and probably the whole year. But I'm thinking about this tournament in particular. So many times she's looked out of points, but she stayed in them and then ended up winning them. Anyway, 30-all here. Garcia to serve, doesn't get the first serve and it hits the net. So a second serve here for Gauff to look at. Remember that point that Jack made. Garcia, incredibly, in 4 matches has only been broken twice. Second serve anyway goes in. Excellent return from going to the backhand there on a second serve. Garcia is kind of playing with fire somewhat. So a backhand winner there, return from Gauff. Excellent again, Jack.
Yeah, really, really good. It is interesting, this matchup, because really both players will be trying to go. Garcia will be trying to go forehand to forehand. Gauff will be trying to go backhand to backhand, and both can create offensive opportunities from both of those wings or their respective wings. So it'll just be interesting to see how that dynamic plays out.
Gauff got a second serve to look at here from Garcia. Goes down the tee again. Gets it over the net. So it's in the rally now. Forehand to the backhand of Garcia, to the backhand of Gauff. But, that's a lovely drop volley and a nice little fist pump there from Garcia, and deservedly so. Deuce. Jack.
Too hard to handle. That's too good. Nothing really you could do about that, to be honest.
Agreed. I mean, she comes into the net. I mean, Gauff does okay with it, I guess, but can't do much more with it. But to be fair, the drop shot, or drop volley, I should say, from Garcia is just perfect over the net and giving Gauff no chance. I'm getting my G's muddled up here, Nick.
Yeah. She would have liked to have stayed lower by that, I think.
Yeah, right. Forehand goes, no, it's still in play. Forehand again from Garcia. She's going big, of course, on that forehand. This time, though, she goes long. Second break point here for Gauff. Second break point. Nick, I'll come to you at the end of this game because I'd like your broader thoughts on this game as a whole and maybe even the match as a whole. But before we do so, Jack, give me something.
Yeah, that was a really good example of what I was just talking about, like being able to use her forehand as a weapon just to sort of absorb some of the pace that Garcia gave her. So maybe in a neutral position, not as strong, in a defensive position, stronger than others on that forehand wing.
And Gauff has got a second serve here to look at. She looks to break and get back into this match somehow. 4-love down at the moment. Garcia, second serve. the toss from Garcia, I'll come to that in a second because she's about to do the second serve here. Second serve, Garcia goes into the backhand of Gauff. Now it's on the backhand of Garcia. Backhand Gauff again. A little drop shot effort there from Garcia. Doesn't work.
Nice.
Was it a drop shot or a slice effort? I'm not sure what it was. Yeah,
I think it was a slice.
Yeah, but anyway, in the moment, Gauff breaks well there. Just one thing I was going to say about the toss from Garcia, and I will come to you in a second, Nick. But Jack, the toss from Garcia a couple of times has looked. It looks a bit like she's throwing it too far back. Is that something that she's always doing, or is it my eyes, or is there just something? And then, as I was about to say that, funny enough, she sort of threw a toss up in the air and probably realized she'd thrown it too far behind her neck. Maybe it's just my take on it, and maybe it's always been there. Jack, what do you think?
I don't know actually, John. The only thing
keep an eye out. We'll keep an eye out for it because I just saw a couple of. Go on.
I was gonna say the only thing I could comment on the uniqueness of her toss is it's all quite quick. Do you know what I mean? It's like when the service motion, there's a pause and then it all happens really fast. So I don't know. Maybe it's more prone to getting thrown behind you because that's the case. But I couldn't comment apart from that, John.
Okay, it was just something that I just noticed a couple of serves in a row there that she seemed to be throwing a bit further back, but not by. I thought it was by accident. It wasn't by default or by intention. Nick, Gauff is broken there. Is it the beginning of a comeback, or am I getting a bit too optimistic for this set?
It could be. I mean, I would say that the reason Gauff won that game is because Garcia's first serve has deserted her a little bit in that game. The percentages did drop off. I did notice that she was missing that first serve quite a lot more, and she was serving a lot to Gauff's backhand, which I think one of you said was playing with fire. I completely agree. You don't that, especially with the way she was doing her second serves, they were very attackable from the Gauff backhand, which is her big weapon. Let's see how Gauff deals with this service game. It's a comfortable hold, maybe. And certainly I've seen a couple of matches in the last 2 days where we've had some massive momentum whiplash almost. If you think about Iga Niemeyer, Świątek Niemeyer yesterday, that was a weird shift in momentum early in the second set. And then Berrettini Ruud earlier today, where Ruud was in control for an hour and then suddenly Berrettini just stopped him. So it's not beyond the realms. I still give Garcia the edge in this set. This is all going to, as I said, it's going to come down to how well Gauff serves here.
It's interesting, actually, Nick. Normally, for those two matches, I'd comment on tactical change or technical change. But to be honest, both of those matches, I think, boiled down to nerves, and I don't think that'll be relevant here. I don't see Garcia. But then Garcia's had a track record of nerves affecting her in the past in some big matches. Just the way she won that Masters title recently kind of just makes me think otherwise. I think she'll be okay.
Yeah, and an excellent Garcia backhand winner brought up love 15 on the Gauff serve here. It's now 15 all. But yeah, I think a Gauff hold here, and ideally Nick comfortably would be great for her and her confidence, because even if it goes shaky again, deuce, or she faces a couple of break points, Gauff here, it'll just sort of continue the theme that she's constantly vulnerable on her serve as Garcia comes into the net, but Gauff is equal to it, but it's not good enough from Gauff. Garcia wins the point 15-30. So the comfortable break that Gauff was hoping for doesn't seem to be forthcoming. 15-30, Garcia looking to get a double break again, Jack.
Yeah, I'm already pretty surprised that Gauff isn't able to use her first serve to win as many cheap points as she would like. I am wondering maybe she's missed more than I think she has. Has there been double faults in this game as well? I don't think there has.
No, there hasn't, not yet.
Yeah, either way, I prefer a first serve. Is that 81 mile an hour first serve, or did we miss the first serve there?
We might have missed it. I'm not sure. I'll come back to that in a second. But Garcia goes long there, so it's 30 all as we approach the half an hour mark of this match. Actually 81 miles an hour. I'm not sure if that was a second or first serve. So there's an 117 first serve there from Gauff.
I think I wouldn't be surprised if we see Gauff mix up the pace of her serve quite a lot, just to keep Garcia from stepping in too much, because she won't know if she should be retreating back. She don't know if she could step in. I wouldn't be surprised if Gauff does that. I think it's quite a good tactic.
Yeah. Okay, so now they're into the rally here, forehand to forehand. It's a good length on that forehand there from Garcia, and it was enough to force the error from Gauff, who went wide in the tramline deuce.
Yeah,
just wide.
Just wide, yeah.
Excellent depth though on the shot that preceded it from Garcia that sort of forced that error from Gauff. It was obviously taken a bit by surprise by the perfection of the depth from her opponent.
Gauff, by the way, with the fastest serve of the tournament so far. I'm pretty sure she's already served 128 miles an hour in one of her previous rounds.
128 is that?
128, yeah.
Interestingly, she just put up it was a first serve ace, and I think it was really slow.
Yeah, again, that was 84 miles an hour,
84.
right? Side
So I
right
think
wide.
she's obviously doing this intentionally. I think we saw a bit of this from Rafa actually the other day. I remember at least one serve from Rafa yesterday where it was deceptively slow with a nice kick out wide. So Gauff is certainly mixing up the speeds of her first serve to try and deceive her opponent. And one of her slowest of the evening was an ace, although it's back to deuce now. So Gauff is not getting that comfortable hold that Nick said she needs. Deuce here. I'll take us through this point. She gets the first serve in, and Garcia goes into the net. It was sort of body-like, and that time it was kind of a mid-range in terms of speed at 94 miles an hour.
Yeah, I think body serve is going to be so important for Gauff. It's a tactic people tend to use against players like Andy Murray as well, players who like to step in and take the return really early. If you can use body serve sparingly, it's a really good tactic.
And Garcia closes that game out finally with an ace with 117 miles an hour.
Gauff even.
Yeah. Did I say Garcia? My goodness me.
Too many G's.
Very much so. Yes, sorry. Gauff, they're holding there in the end 2-4. As we look ahead to some of the tomorrow's matches, at least on my screen there, we've got TFO obviously come up against Rublev in the afternoon. What are your thoughts, by the way, Nick, on that Berrettini-Ruud match? Because I didn't see any of it.
I was in the office today, so I couldn't have the match on. Put the live scores up, and I was like, Ruud's winning. And then I thought it was down to Berrettini not playing great. And then I saw some of his first serves, Ruud's first serve stats, and I thought, oh no, that's actually quite strong. And then I showed up, and like, no, by the time it was like midway through the second set, and Ruud was just outplaying Berrettini. And then got tied and then evened everything up. Still managed to close out the set, but that third set was really weird. Both players super tight in that third set. It wasn't a great watch. Ruud deservedly getting that win, though. For that first hour, he was amazing. And definitely great job.
Yeah, go on, Jack.
Yeah, I was going to really what Van should say on Twitter. I think definitely the biggest win of Casper Ruud's career, I would say. Just because it's proven the hater is wrong, right? And he's getting big results on hard court. It's the biggest hard court result probably of his career, maybe the Miami final. But I would probably argue a US Open semi-final is bigger. So really, really great win for him, even if it was a little bit ugly.
Yeah, I agree with that point from Vanch that he made on Twitter earlier today. Yeah, I think it is a bigger achievement. And listen, my reaction to the result, because it was simply a case of putting the name into Google as I was at the airport today, or maybe even a bit later in the day, and just seeing, my reaction was, wow, I was shocked that Ruud won and won so comfortably.
Yeah, so was I. The one thing I was saying to Vance was the last time they played was Gustad, and Berrettini barely had his serve touch the whole time, and I believe it will be because of how the altitude affects his serve, and it's so difficult for Ruud to put returns into play. He's actually a little bit better against Berrettini when he does get the return into play than people give him credit for. So I think that match was a little bit. It was not very telling, certainly, of how well Ruud can play against Berrettini, and he showed it today.
Yeah, and by the way, you were talking about proving the haters wrong. Well, one of those people may well be his semi-final opponent, Nick Kyrgios, of course. Action later this evening. I know they've had a bit of a spat on social media, I think, in the past.
Yeah, what was it they said again? Something about
clay court. Was it his clay court thing from Nick? I can't remember now.
Yeah, it was something along those lines of basically saying Casper's. I can't remember what he said, but it was along the lines of Casper just being good on clay and not even being a very good player in general.
Yeah, something like that.
I think he said that about Karen Busta as well, right? It's like
he said that about a lot of people, to be honest. What was it? There was a match between Sinner and Alcaraz a few years back, and Kyrgios's comment on that was, "If this is the future of tennis, then it's going to be boring."
Surely wasn't Sinner and Alcaraz, right?
It was. You said that about them.
It's just nobody would have even listened.
Nick
Paid attention
Kyrgios
to
said
that one.
that?
I know.
Yeah.
Oh, dear me. Oh, anyway, Nick Kyrgios, well, he's in action later. Right now, we've got Garcia is leading 40-30. I'll take us through this point here as Garcia gets a first serve into the backhand of Gauff, but it's a good serve, but she's gone long there. So we're seeing something a little bit interesting right now. Just one break between them, of course. It was a double break. Garcia lamenting that unforced error. Now she's racked up 7. It was 3 just a couple of minutes ago. It's now one break of serve advantage, 4-2, and deuce. Jack, some thoughts?
Yeah, great. I mean, I don't know if I counted her at the set. But to be fair, like the way Gauff is already starting to find Garcia's backhand off of balls that other players wouldn't have is so impressive. Like to even make Garcia hit a backhand there was impressive. So, she's digging in. She's doing what she's been doing basically all week. This is why I was like, Garcia's been getting for her matches easier, but almost the grit that Gauff's had to display in her matches is making her more of a contestant in some way, more of a competitor. So if it does get tight, I'd fancy Gauff to take it.
Okay, and she got a net cord there. Anyway, it didn't work in her advantage in the end because Garcia won the point. So it's now game point Garcia. You do get the impression this is a pretty big game for Garcia to win. And Jethro just sending a message here. It was Alcaraz and Ruusavori rather than Alcaraz. But it's equally bizarre. I mean, the fact that Alcaraz was one of the players mentioned, it's still odd that the Australian would choose that avenue, don't you think, Nick?
Oh, 100%. Alcaraz is not a boring player, and to be honest, I mean, I can see why I got Ruusavori and Sinner mixed up because they do have very similar games. But Sinner's certainly been able to execute his a lot better earlier on in his career. But yeah, completely the wrong take. I love watching them both. Alcaraz is epic. Box office.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, Ruusavori hits the ball harder than basically 90% of the tour. It's great.
Okay, deuce now again. Garcia, I think another unforced error there. She gets the first serve in there on the first. Oh, she long foots Gauff there, does she? Is it enough to win the point? Yes, it is. Yeah, it's a good decision to go behind the American there with that cross court shot there from Garcia.
Definitely seeing a little bit of cracks in this game from Garcia. The unforced errors are slowly creeping up, and I wasn't expecting to see that. I thought she'd stay a little bit more solid.
Yeah. Okay, so she's got game point here. I'll talk us through this. She's going to hopefully get us first serve in here. She'll be hoping. She goes into the net, so it's a second serve for Gauff. You would imagine that she would not go for the backhand, but let's see. I could be wrong. Garcia to serve second serve. Gets on the forehand because he goes fairly central. Anyway, backhand okay, forehand now of Gauff. I've got myself settled. Backhand goes cross court, but it doesn't go successfully across court. Hits the net, and it's deuce, Jack.
Yeah, again, Gauff just able to find Garcia's backhand a lot better than players previously. I mean, Garcia was having basically, I would love to know her average rally length. Must be 2 to 3 shot rallies with other players of her own racket, I should add. Gauff is making the rallies, 4 or 5 shots, and it's making all the difference.
Yeah, deuce again. I don't know how many deuces that is, 3 or 4 in this game.
Jack, I'm surprised you don't have the long stats up in front of you.
I know, yeah. For rally length, I'd love to know, Nick, but unfortunately, I'll have to watch every match back and do it manually because it's not on the USTA website.
Yeah, who did he say was a pelican?
An absolute pelican, yeah.
I read it out the other day on one of my streams.
It was Khachanov.
Khachanov, yeah, exactly, yeah. Who? Oh, yeah, that's right. Because who's his tonight? Listen, Khachanov, by the way, just comes across as a really nice guy.
He does, yeah. I mean, Kyrgios has got beef with everybody, so if we start fleshing that out for every match,
yeah.
Everybody except Andy Murray.
Yeah, true.
Yeah,
true. I think he was actually talking about that Pelican thing was a conclusion of a chat. They were talking about Murray because actually Kyrgios begins, but he so often goes down strange alleyways because actually Kyrgios begins by making a salient point regarding what Mats Wilander had said about Andy Murray. That's an excellent forehand winner there from Garcia to bring up 5-2. Wow, much needed and just at the right time. 5-2 now, Garcia leads, so that's a significant advantage. But just quickly, so that was it was a chat about Mats Wilander, and Mats Wilander, I think, was silly to say this is about 2 years ago, saying, listen, Murray should hang up his racket. I'm sure you'd disagree with that, Nick.
What is saying? Mats Wilander is saying Andy should hang up his racket. Oh yeah.
Did you not hear that? A couple of years ago, it was.
I don't remember him making the comment at the time. I only heard it for the first time when that Twitter exchange between Kyrgios and Alcaraz, Kyrgios and Khachanov came up. Yeah, I mean, Mats Wilander says a lot of stupid things.
Yeah, that was particularly silly. I don't know what. Sometimes I do think with commentators, and I think of myself here as not saying I'm anywhere near that level, but sometimes you just feel the necessity to fill the airwaves with something because you can't have silence. So when he's given a question, maybe he just has to say something. Jack, I'm sure you would also agree that was a bit of a silly thing for Mats Wilander to say.
Definitely. Honestly, yeah, you're right, John. He has to come up with something a little bit more exciting, but a little bit controversial. So actually, I will give him the benefit of the doubt, and probably he doesn't actually think that.
No, the only thing that surprised me is he didn't row back on it, to be honest with you. But listen, rowing back or rowing back into the match was something Gauff was threatening to do, threatening to get the double break all the way back to on serve there, but didn't quite manage to do so. I don't think did she have any break points in that game, Nick? I don't think she did.
No, it was all game points.
Yeah, exactly. But it was certainly there. It was certainly threatening for Garcia, and that's obviously the second service game in a row that she was under threat. And bearing in mind, until tonight, she'd only been broken once the whole tournament. That will now be 3 times, obviously, because Gauff did get 1 break here. Anyway, I'll talk us through the beginning of this game because, of course, it could be crucial. Because if Garcia was to break again, it would be enough to seal the first set. Gauff settling down, probably just waiting for 1 or 2 members of the audience to do the same. New York crowd do tend to be a little bit slower to their seats than some of the other majors, but that's probably a topic for another day, Jack.
Yeah, not very Wimbledon.
No, not very Wimbledon. But I've already said on pretty much a 60-minute show all about why US Open was my favorite major, and I don't mind that. I mean, Berrettini was complaining about it a few days ago. I think it was in the Murray match, wasn't he? But yeah, so what? Listen, I mean, I don't agree with some of the everything, and of course, I think it's also down to the stewards. I mean, that's what I think. That's a good volley there from Garcia to win the point. Sorry, Gauff. I'm getting my G's muddled up again. 30 love. She was really under pressure there.
Very interesting there, a bit serving volley. I expect that's because Garcia's first ball she'll take on will tend to be down the middle. Albeit it'll be aggressive, of course. She'll be able to put a lot of power on it and take time away from her opponent. But I suppose Garcia's Gauff. I'm doing the same thing, John. I suppose Gauff is doing exactly the same thing back to Garcia and taking time away by serving volley. I don't know if we'll see that frequently. But
well, she's just got an ace there, 40 love. Well, the thing is, the tactic worked in terms of winning the point, but didn't work in terms of how the point played out. Because really, I think Garcia would win that point probably 60% of the time, 70% of the time. It was only an excellent reflex from Gauff getting her basically a racket on the ball that managed to win the point. But hats off to Gauff there, 40 love now with an ace as well. Although she's got a second serve here. Look how far Garcia is inside that court. It's almost like, oh, well, I don't know how to describe it. And there's Gauff having a few problems with her toss of the ball there. But look at that from Garcia. A meter inside the baseline, waiting to receive. It's a double fault.
It's like the saber, right, John? Do you remember the saber from Federer a few years ago?
Vaguely. You'll have to fill me in.
It's the sneak attack by Roger.
Oh, yeah. I don't actually remember it happening, but I've seen it latterly on YouTube where who's he facing? And he just goes.
Yeah, he did it. Well, he did it quite a lot. It wasn't a one-off. Yeah, so he used to pull it out every so often. So I don't know. I couldn't tell you an opponent he did it to.
It is off-putting. It is off-putting. Go on, Nick.
I'm saying it's something that came in sort of later on in his career, sort of particularly under Stefan Edberg. I think the key difference between the way Roger and Caroline kind of doing it is Caroline's standing a lot further inside the baseline than Roger would have. Roger sometimes to get an excellent return and just crush the net.
It's just the Aber, right? The attack by Roger or Caro in this case, because there's no sneak about it, I suppose, Nick.
Yeah, it's not sneak. You wouldn't get any sneak attack damage.
Yeah.
So Gauff there holding serve with I think it was another ace, and it was another one of those ones out wide that was actually a snail's pace by her speed. I think it was 82 miles an hour over the net, but it was an ace all the same. Anyway, and it's an unreturnable from Garcia, bringing up 15 love. So right now, just to fill everybody in on the score, it's Garcia leading 5-3, serving out this set at 15 love. Do you want to take us through this point, Jack?
Yeah, I can do, yeah. just bouncing for first serve in my screen at the moment. Interesting to see what Garcia's serve strategy is. I think she'll probably try and spread the court rather than just target the forehand. Second serve, though, she missed the first serve out wide. Going with the second serve. Out wide to Gauff's backhand. They're trading backhands cross court. Clips the net from Garcia. Gauff goes down the line with her backhand. It's perfectly deep. And yeah, Garcia can't defend it, so it goes just long. Really, really good backhand there from Gauff. I don't know why. Yeah, that's one of those ones, John, where you're kind of puzzled, I guess, because why did Garcia go out wide in the first place? Why did she start trading backhands cross court? It was probably advantage Gauff from the get-go there.
Yep, agree. And it was ultimately a backhand shot from Gauff that forced the error from Garcia. Garcia now with a second serve here as well. So 15 all. Here we go. Second serve as she tosses the ball up into the air. And there's a little pause as well. That time it was quite a high one from her, actually. She's actually decided to wait again. So here we go. Second serve here anyway. Clips the top of the net and goes long. Double fault from Garcia. 15-30. Shaky times. Shaky times, Jack.
Yeah, wow. Yeah, obviously if she can get the break here, she matches Andreescu or doubles the amount of time, I guess, that Garcia has been broken throughout the tournament. Yeah, double faults, not really like Garcia throughout the tournament. She's been pretty steady in serve, so nerves, question mark, possibly.
Could be, but that's a good first serve there from her bringing up a forced error, I suppose, or an unreturned, or whichever way you want to put it, meaning 30 all, 5-3 Garcia. Listen, Garcia would have bitten your hand off if you did offered her this chance at the beginning of the match, albeit that, of course, as the match has played out, she has lost one of her double break advantages. Anyway, 5-3, 30 all, as she's about to serve here, home to get her first serve in. Yeah, I see what you mean about the quickness of the sort of last part of the motion is a pretty speedy thing. Anyway, here we go. First serve from Garcia goes in. So there's a ball in play here. She's got a big advantage and she puts the forehand away, meaning 40-30.
Yeah, it's so unique. I really like it. Just something very characteristic about the serve toss. And I feel like if somebody mimicked Garcia's service motion to me, I'd probably be able to tell it was her.
Yeah. It's got a last minute sort of quick movement that's sort of distinctive. Okay, 40-30, 7 for the set point. Here we go. Garcia, is she going to get the first serve in? Again, the ball toss goes awry, even I should say, and therefore she's going to do it again. So still the first serve here from Garcia. Up goes the ball once again, and this time she goes for it. She gets it into the body of Gauff, and it's advantage her to some extent. She's got the volley in. Has it won the point? Good defensive shot, but no, it's not enough. And she does a good celebration.
Well
there to 6-3 Garcia. You said nerves question mark at 30 all. I think it was. It may have been 15-30, and she won 3 points in a row there, meaning she's won the first set 6-3. Nick.
Yeah, that was an impressive hold to get the set from Garcia, despite being 15-30 down. A little bit nervy at the start. She stabilized. She took control. She played aggressive. She was assertive. Played some lovely shots. Like when Caroline Garcia is on, it's really spectacular tennis. Interestingly, they cut to, don't know if anyone recognized it, Mary Pierce in the crowd.
Okay.
The last French player to win the US Open back in 1995. I think it was 95.
Okay.
She never won the US Open. What am I talking about? She won the Australian. Wrong hardcourt major.
Yeah, she's won the French. I think she's won the French Open, Mary Pierce.
She's won the French.
Yeah, it's like 2000, right? Maybe year 2000.
Yeah, she won the 2000 French Open and 1995 Australian.
I think that was it. Just the two.
And that was it. Yeah, she did get to the US Open final in 2005. I think that makes her the most recent French woman to make the US Open final. But yeah.
That could be the last French woman in the US. Is that what you were saying? The last French woman in the US Open final, possibly?
Okay.
Yeah, final. Yeah, I don't know who the last French woman to win the US Open was. I Google it or try and trawl back through.
I'd like to know the last French woman to win a slam now, if anybody has that off the top of their head.
Marion Barkley, 2013, Wimbledon.
A fair while then. Yeah.
By the way, I've got Alcaraz on my alerts for whenever he tweets, and he's been fairly amusing all summer long. I remember when he was at Wimbledon doing some funny ones because of course they often rent homes, don't they, around there we go, Isabella as well, just mentioning Bartley there with her Wimbledon win earlier in 2013. But yeah, I've got him on alerts, and he's just tweeted something which I'm going to share with the audience as we're on the end of this first set. Want a break here? He's got anyone needs coffee for tomorrow? I guess because I think it's because he finished so late last night.
Yeah, well,
he's highlighting because I think it finished at 2:24 a.m. He's on a jogging machine here. I'm not sure if that's actually being shared on the screen. I think sometimes it goes a bit. It's there. Yeah, you can.
Yeah,
could you see it for a few seconds?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So, anyways, working day tomorrow. Anyone needs coffee for tomorrow, basically, is what he's saying. After I guess the late finish he had last night. Anyway, there he is. He's actually a really fun guy, and again, he's someone who comes across really well. Why Nick Kyrgios wants to pick a fight, I have no idea.
Very good question.
I'm pretty sure I could take him in a fight.
I'd like to see that. I'd like to listen. I tell you what. If they do get to the final, if it goes to a super tiebreaker, I think they should arm wrestle.
There can only be one Nick, surely.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. Anyway, the second set now has got underway. We'll go back to our wonderful faces on the screen. Although I don't really want to go like that. I think I want to go like that. There we go. Jack stacked down the bottom there. Okay, so 15 love Gauff. Jack, some thoughts?
Of course, it's so important to get a hold on the board when you start the second set as she double faults there. I don't know if she really needs to change up tactics, to be honest. I thought she got it right as of 4 love. The plays she was doing, everything was correct, and she was a whisker away from breaking a few times. Keep going as she's going, and obviously, the less double faults, the better. Good
return there, though, from Garcia on what was actually a fairly decent serve, I would say, from Gauff. But actually, Garcia did well to get her racket to it. But nevertheless, it was actually more than just a racket. She gave it back with interest, and it's now 15-30. 6-3, Garcia won that first set. 15-30, Gauff is serving here at love all at the beginning of the second. And Garcia goes long.
Not
30.
Lucky, actually. The one thing I would say about Garcia is, and that's why we saw the previous return was so good. And I think that's also why we're seeing Gauff go for really sort of slow sliders. If it is in her reach, she'll absolutely blast it. So you've got to prioritize placement over pace unless you're going into the body. So it's quite difficult for Gauff to get her bearings, I guess, on the first serve and get it right.
Oh, this is a good point, but Gauff will be kicking herself because really she was struggling to get into that point at times, Gauff, but then finally at the end, really, she had a fairly easy pass to aim at, and she put it into the net. As a stat comes up about Garcia winning 8 out of 9 points at the net, which is pretty impressive. I don't know if that counts. Well, I guess it does because she was at the net ultimately, albeit it was an unforced error from Gauff at the end. So it's now break point Garcia. So I'll take us through this very, very important point at this early stage. Gauff about to serve, goes down the tee to the forehand of Garcia. Good return from Garcia. Backhand now goes into the net from Garcia. Deuce. Nick. Gauff, is she going to come back into this match? What does she need to do? What's been going wrong? What can go right for Gauff really to get back into this? Because obviously it's a bit sticky right now.
Yeah, I think it was the slow start that's really put her in this position. It was also Garcia playing amazing on the return, and I think Gauff's tactics are disrupting Garcia. I think Jack's spot on with his analysis there, as per usual. But with Garcia has also kind of let a few more errors creep in. That's very good serve from Gauff there to bring up advantage.
Did you notice that was a second serve there, Nick? Right in the line.
Yeah, it was a second serve, which was a very smart, very risky second serve going that far out wide. It's Gauff's about to serve.
Serve volley doesn't work this time. Doesn't work.
This opening game is crucial for Gauff right now. I think I was kind of with Jack's analysis of the momentum of the match, that if Gauff keeps doing what she's doing, I think she could well take the second set. But Garcia started the set really well, and Gauff's just not started it well enough. If Gauff gets broken here, this could seal the momentum in Garcia's favour.
Go on, Jack.
That was a bizarre serving volley. I don't know. There just wasn't any commitment to it. She was almost hanging around what we call no man's land, of course, on the service line for the volley, and she couldn't take any time away from Garcia at all. And that was a pretty poor backhand there. I get why she took the risk on it, but we're on break point now again.
She's angry with herself there. Go on, Nick.
can see why she's upset with herself there. That wasn't a great backhand. That was a frustrated shot.
Yeah, advantage Garcia, second break point of the game. Gauff goes into serve down the tee. Garcia gets a racket on it, and she goes into the net, and she slams her racket down on the ground, albeit with not the same venom that we've seen from other players in the past. And she loses her serve here, love one. But really, that was probably more about Gauff losing that game than Garcia winning it. Don't you think, Nick?
Yeah, I think there were some critical errors from Gauff and some weird tactical choices that kind of let Garcia in. But I think it is more that, but I would say that's 60-40 the case. I think there was some also really, really good returns from Garcia that put her right in the game and rattled Gauff. So Gauff lost that game near the end, but Garcia really put herself in it. Really good start from her. I'm curious to see how she's gonna serve this next game, because she's been threatened on serve her last 3 service games.
Yeah, just so you know, Garcia is 42-11 when she's won the first set at majors. So she wins about 4 out of 5 matches after winning the first set, which I guess is probably slightly above average. I don't know, but it seems to be pretty impressive. Gauff, by the way, when she loses the first set, has won just 5 of the 14 matches that she's lost the first set. Again, it probably makes sense. The reason why, as Gauff kind of makes an error at the net there, the reason why I was thinking more that Gauff threw that away was because there was a backhand that I think she went long on towards the end, which brought up the second break point. There was at least one serve and volley, and I think it was a strange decision, bearing in mind how the previous serve and volley had panned out when I said I know that Gauff won the point, but basically it was one of those that really she had to pull out a miracle to win the point, which suggested that the tactic was wrong, even though she ended up winning that point, if that makes sense. So I was surprised by that. And there was a couple of times when she could have passed Garcia and she hit it into the net. And those are the points that stuck in my mind, put it that way. And maybe there were some other points where Garcia did well, but Gauff was certainly very frustrated with herself. And now she's in a bit of bother here. Obviously, she's a breakdown already at the beginning of this set, and she's already 30 love down here, Jack.
Yeah, I mean, Garcia just hit an amazing forehand there, to be fair. Just everything you're saying there. 5 out of 14 is not actually terrible for losing the first set, I guess. She has got a little bit of fight in her for sure, and obviously a really young career. I think that's a great record for this age, I would say.
Yeah, okay, yeah, fair enough. I mean, you're obviously statistically less likely to go on and win the match, so to win almost a third, or she goes wide there with a forehand. That's the forehand that we did sort of touch upon earlier. And it does, when she makes the error on the forehand, I don't know, but maybe it's just my eyes deceiving me, but they do tend to go wide rather than long. But who knows what the stats are on that. But certainly the forehand does seem to be something for Garcia to attack, as she looks to close this game out with 3 game points, Jack.
Yeah, I'm really scared Garcia's just going to go on an absolute tear. Honestly, the forehand kind of looks like it's limitless, and certainly in some of them, Andreescu in particular, I mean, she made Andreescu look second rate with that forehand, so I'm just scared that it's really going to tee off. Key really would be just to keep it to Garcia's backhand for a while, because it kind of looks like every time Garcia's getting an opportunity to hit a forehand, it's just way too much.
Yeah, 40-15 now. Gauff did win that point. Nick, you saw that match against Andreescu, the Garcia-Andreescu match. I was, I think, commentating on another match at the time, and I remember coming to you about that, or maybe you were in the live chat. I think you were in the live chat talking about it as I was doing the Serena Williams match. I have to say, the result did stand out for me, and you just said Garcia was awesome that night.
She really was, because Andreescu wasn't playing that bad. I think, as Jack said, Garcia made her look ordinary. Andreescu had opportunities to get herself back in the match several times, and Garcia just stopped her. From what I remember, I don't have a complete perfect recall of it, but I just remember, Garcia just out-hitting her, out-lasting in the rallies. I mean, I wasn't paying that much attention because I was also listening to you commentate on Serena and Tomljanovic and wanting to know what was going on there, and also that end of that Carreño Busta de Minaur match. But it was the vibe I got from the match was very much Garcia was the superior player, which you wouldn't expect from someone from playing Bianca Andreescu, who plays her best tennis in New York as a general rule.
Mm-hmm. And I remember I think we were speaking in the chat and had some thoughts on it, and we were just saying how hard and how aggressive Andreescu is, but probably she was out hit that night by Garcia.
For sure. And Garcia again, she's definitely a power player, but she's not a ball basher, if that makes sense. She's just got this ability to hit clean but big, and that's very impressive as she wins that with an unreturnable serve.
Yeah, I mean, impressive because as well she was 40 love up, and then it went to 40-30 quite quickly. Jack, Gauff, okay, if you're Gauff's coach right now, what are you saying to her to try and get back into this match?
Yeah, you don't want her to do anything she's too uncomfortable with. To be honest, a lot of the tactics I would say come down to the serve, because it's really important just to keep Garcia at bay. So I think the variety she's been using throughout the match so far is good to keep using. I don't think she should doubt that. I don't think she should panic and start going as big as she can to Garcia's body basically frequently. I think, yeah, she should start thinking of using the sliders when she can. The serve and volley for me is not an awful idea, but yeah, it was just the lack of commitment on it and kind of getting caught in the middle of nowhere. So yeah, I think, yeah, just trust in her serve would be what I'd be saying as a coach.
That's a good first point for her there. In fact, she did a really good forehand. Just after I was highlighting that sometimes it can go awry, she did a really good forehand that set her up for ultimately the backhand winner. And that's another excellent backhand, one down the line that she sort of hits almost on the half volley that we have come to know and love from Gauff, particularly in this tournament. So 30 love here, looking to get herself on the board in this second set. I'll talk us through this next point while you two relax and think about what's going on in the broader sense of things. As she goes into the net on the first serve, and it wasn't the most aggressive of first serves. So that's 67 miles an hour is what the shot clock comes at. I noticed
I said variety, but oh my
God. I know. Anyway, backhand now for Gauff, clips the top of the net corner. The backhand of Garcia goes well down the line, correctly down the line, bringing up 30-15 for Gauff. So Gauff obviously getting a net cord there, but it did set up quite nicely for Garcia to also hit a winner down the line. So 30-15. Yeah, let's just follow this point. So here we go. What speed are we going to go for here? There's almost a bit of a pick and mix there. She goes down the center. Very good pinpoint serve, that one. That seemed to just sort of may well have clipped the inside of the service line. Either way, it ended up being an unreturnable, bringing up 40-15. Seemed to be 76 miles an hour, that serve. But they're really hit and miss these, or at least they're intentionally hit and miss, if that makes sense, these serves from Gauff. Which is an interesting tactic as Garcia goes long and goes wide, I should say, with a forehand there.
It's a great tactic for me.
I like it.
It is. I just think it stops Garcia getting the same look on her racket. Her feel is so great. You know, if you just give her the same 110 mile an hour serve all the time for her to sort of float back into play, not float, I'd certainly not float, smack back into play. But there is obviously an element of feel to the shot. So if you can kind of just sort of fluctuate that a bit, mess with it, it's a great move.
Absolutely. I mean, with her aggressive inside the baseline position, one thing you don't want is you want Garcia to get in a groove. And how are you going to get in a groove? By constant serves, even if they're hard, even if they're, as you say, 110 miles an hour. Once you've got your time, because it's all about timing. When you're that far inside the baseline, you really want to get the timing perfect. And when you get the timing perfect and you get in your groove, it's almost unstoppable. Whereas, of course, the hardest thing to do when you get into timing is 1 minute it's a 75 mile an hour serve, and the next minute it's 115. Nick, 1-2 now. So I think this is not done yet.
Oh, no, I think I could see Gauff breaking back in this set. 100%. Like, this is way too early in the set to call this as done and dusted for Garcia. I think she does have the edge. I think she'll probably still close out this match, either in 2 or 3. Yeah, I could see another break of serve coming if Garcia plays like she did sort of near the end of the first set. We'll have to see. It's impossible to know, really.
It's kind of, to be fair, I don't know, it's kind of is up to Garcia for me. She can serve well enough to close out the match. Certainly, like, ace percentage has been the highest or the number of aces, I should say, it has been the highest of anybody this year.
Yeah, if she plays like she did against Andreescu in that second set, 100% winning this because she closed it out so well. Yeah, I completely agree with you. It is all on Garcia's racket, really, and whether she's making errors and whether she's getting first serves in.
The winner of this, of course, plays Ons Jabeur, Nick. Ons Jabeur winning today in straight sets against Tomljanovic, but like many of these straight sets on the women's sides, it was anything but rudimentary. What do you make of Ons Jabeur? What did you make of that match? And what did you make of Ons Jabeur's tournament as a whole?
I haven't watched much of Ons Jabeur's tournament so far. I am genuinely surprised she's still in the tournament.
Me too.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, she's talented and deservedly should be world number 2. I think she is going to get there now. And I love her game. She's got a lot of variety and can beat most people when it's on fire. She's kind of scrapped her way to the stage. Hard courts aren't her favorite surface. So I'm really pleased to see her in the semifinals. I think Garcia will beat her if Garcia wins this. If it's Gauff, that could be scrappy. That one. Don't know who to favour in that matchup if Gauff comes through this. But I'm really pleased that Ons has made it, and full credit to her. It's been another really impressive performance overall.
Who's on the other side? So go on. Sorry, Tomljanovic, yeah.
Yeah, I think she got a bit nervous against Tomljanovic. Kind of stands sort of Ons Jabeur nerves. That's still kind of in the background a bit, but overall she looks pretty happy to be here.
This is a good question here from Ghost, which I'll put to you in a second, Jack. Just coming up there with a stat regarding Garcia with 49% first serve. Yeah, just regarding what you said then, Nick, about Ons. I haven't seen a huge amount of her. I think I saw the result, or maybe saw the closing stages of her win against Shelby Rogers, and I think that was a time when she did have to grit her teeth somewhat and managed to get through. But yeah, I'm like you. I saw her peaking at Wimbledon, and then supposing that the rest of her hardcourt season would just sort of not peter out, because she obviously make the end of year finals, but bearing in mind that I saw both clay and grass, despite the differences between those two surfaces being her strongest surfaces, I saw that being the case. Maybe meeting Tomljanovic after the two matches she had previously, obviously against Serena and Samsonova. Maybe that was Tomljanovic's sort of end of her journey in a mental or physical way. I don't know. That's an excellent forehand winner there from Gauff. Don't know. Anyway, let's get to this question, Jack, about how is Garcia winning when she's only getting 49% of her first serve in?
Yeah, interesting question from Ghost of Garcilatus there. 49% first serves in isn't awful if you're winning all those first serve points. I think we saw it against Nadal with Tiafoe the other night. He, I think, didn't make more than 50% of his first serves for the first two sets. And in that first set, at least, he was winning a high percentage of his first serves. I think I just saw Garcia's winning 83% of her first serves at the moment. So if you do enough with it, and also I would say that, I mean, a lot of the service games have been tight. I think this is the third one in my memory that has went to deuce at least. And
yeah,
obviously Gauff has broken as well. It's just if you can do enough of the first serve, a low first serve percentage isn't the worst thing in the world, to be fair.
Regarding that,
just on this game,
go on, Nick. Go on.
On this game, this has been super impressive from Gauff the last few points. That she's really she's won those points. She's not waited for Garcia's errors. Like this is the most impressive return game I've seen from Gauff so far the match.
Okay, albeit now we've got, unfortunately for her, Garcia's now got a game point advantage. So I'll talk us through this point. It's 2-1, advantage Garcia. Garcia going for the first serve here. Is she going to get it in? The ball toss goes up and she hits it into the net. So it's going to be a second serve here for Coco to look at as she wants to bring this game back to juice. It's currently advantage Garcia 2-1 in this second set. Here we go. Garcia second serve to the backhand of Gauff, but it's got a nice kick on it this time. So there's a backhand to backhand now, albeit Garcia feels like she's in charge at this point at the moment. She switches it up now. Forehand of Gauff. Forehand Garcia. Forehand of Gauff's goes long. 3-1. 3-1. She did have a chance there, Gauff. Yeah. Probably didn't need to go quite so big on that one, Jack.
So, yeah, I just to add to what I was saying there for Ghost of Gary latest there, pay attention to when Gauff does manage to win a first serve return point, because that'll tell you a lot about what Garcia is doing right, I guess, because I imagine it'll be an unforced error from Garcia. A lot of these have been serve plus ones. A lot of them have been finished with an unreturned serve. She's doing everything right in the first serve at the moment.
Yeah, and regarding the TFO sort of comparison in terms of the stat of around about 50% first serves, just to back that up, Nadal didn't even have a break point until the end of the second set, and then he had two, and he won one of them with a double fault from TFO. Is an error there from Gauff brings up love 15. Yeah, so he barely got a look in on the serve, to be honest with you, really until the fourth set. In the fourth set, funny enough, he broke early, and he had a couple other looks at it, I think, at sort of love 30s and 15-30s. But it wasn't until the fourth set where he started to, I think, get despite losing 5 games in a row in that set, where he actually started to get a read on the TFO serve. I noticed him guessing. Now, I don't know whether he was physically or mentally tiring as well, mainly just through a lack of match practice from Rafa. As I highlighted earlier, that I think that could have been an issue as he approached this match. I think it was an issue for Djokovic back when the clay court season happened, because he'd obviously missed all those tournaments due to his vaccination status. That there's a peak and there's obviously too many matches. You don't want to do a Tommy Paul and every 5 minutes you're playing a 5-set match and then you'll get caught out. But you also want to have enough matches so you're ready for a 4 or 5 set. And I just don't know if Rafa was quite ready for that 4-setter. He did seem to start blowing a bit at 3-1 from 3-1 in that 4th set. But yeah, regarding the service thing, he just couldn't get a read on it, and he was guessing wrong half the time. Anyway, back to today. Garcia Gauff here. Garcia is now 15-30. Gauff is about to serve. First serve goes to the backhand of Gauff. Goes to the backhand of Garcia. Garcia now on the forehand brings up a winner. That time, though, the serve was set up too easily for Garcia, even if it was on the backhand. 15-40. This could be pivotal or decisive, Jack.
Yeah, that's a couple of times that she's went into Garcia's backhand. The one at love 15, she basically had to dig off her shoelaces, and it was volleyed away by Garcia. Not much you can do really on that ad side in particular. If this break point gets saved, the most important one is probably the next one.
Yeah, forehand of Gauff now to the forehand of Garcia. Garcia goes long. Little clenched fist there. I wouldn't call it a fist pump, more of a clenched fist of relief there that Garcia went long with that one. So it's 30-40, but one more break point to save here for Coco Gauff. This is, you would think, is essential if she wants to get back into this match.
I'd love to know how many second serve points she's winning from this ad court side, because I feel like Garcia's all over it wherever she puts the second serve. She has made a first serve, though, which is super important. She's not really. I suppose she hit that forehand hard enough that it was tough for Garcia, but maybe that's a little bit of a let off.
She had a good position on that serve, as in a good spot that she hit down the line. Again, probably just clipping the inside of the line there. So that was a good placement serve from Gauff down the line there. So it's now deuce as she serves into the forehand. Actually, that's another good wide serve there. Again, it's one of those ones that you just very unpredictable, and it caught Garcia out, I think. Bringing up game point now, Gauff. This is good mental strength from her. Bearing in mind she was 15-40 down, 3 points in a row, bringing up a game point. Is she going to get a first serve? Is she going to get it in? Is she going to get it in? She does, to the backhand of Garcia again. To the backhand slice now from Garcia. She approaches the net, but she's gone long, and now we get a bit more of excitement from Gauff. Go on, Jack.
Yeah, this is very exciting, I've got to say. I'd be really interested to hear what how this ranks in Gauff's average first serve speed rankings, because it's not something I've seen her do before. Normally, she does tend to try and go 110 miles an hour, at least down the tee, and will also go pretty big out wide. And variety isn't really a part of her game on her serve, or at least for pace. Variety of pace that I didn't know she did that, basically. It's surprising. It's taken me aback a little bit, John.
I think it may even have taken, despite the fact that she's a setting a break down or a setting a break up, it may even have taken Garcia back a little bit, because, and I think it's because of this aggressive stance that she has. She doesn't want Garcia to get in a groove on the return. She's gotten a big enough groove as it is. But as you said, Jack, I think it's probably been the right thing. Now, the reason she's losing is for a million other reasons. Nick, what's your thoughts on this match now? Is it sort of, obviously Garcia got the upper hands quite significantly, but it's far from done yet.
Yeah, it's far from done yet. I've seen some very positive signs from Gauff the last couple of games. Okay, she nearly got broken, but she did save it. I would say there were a couple of points where I thought Garcia overhit it a little bit, trying to, just went a little bit too much. Understandable, it's her game. But yeah, right now I'd say Gauff is still very much in this set, despite being a breakdown. And yeah, this is going to come down to how well Garcia responds to missing that chance on that service game. Interesting on this first serve stats, because I've got the US Open ones up now, and even though we were talking about Garcia with a 49%, Gauff's actually got 80% of her first serves in, according to the US Open one. So it's a weird topsy-turvy stat in that sense, and that you would think with those stats the score should be the other way around.
80% of her first serves?
According to the US Open.
Really?
Yeah, 43 out of 54. She's won.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's Garcia you're talking about?
No, Gauff.
Gauff.
Okay. By the way, just going to bring up a couple of tweets here from Laura Robson. Cue the Andy Murray Caroline Garcia tweet. From I think that's in reference to a prediction that he made in about 2013 when he said that Caroline Garcia is a future world number one. Well, she's playing like one at the moment, to be fair. But yes, he was just about 8 or 9 years ahead of his time there. There is one more tweet I want to bring up before we go back to the match. And that is from this parish. Jethro there saying Garcia has one of the best forehands I've ever seen. It's outrageous.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I definitely agree with that, Jethro. It's crazy when it's on.
Mm.
Cool.
Yeah.
Okay, back to the game. It's a love 15 on the Garcia serve, so maybe we'll be at interesting stakes in a minute. Backhand from Gauff is an excellent backhand. Is it enough to win the point? No, it's not, because she gets the half volley at the net slightly wrong.
This is exactly what I was just saying earlier. That's like, come in or don't come in. Don't get caught at the service line. It's poor net approaching, and it's not normally a problem in her game. She's normally really good at it, actually. So I don't know.
Yeah. If she'd have attacked the net, maybe it would have been a full-on volley rather than a half volley. Anyway, 15 all. Here goes Garcia now with the serve. Goes out wide to the forehand. Back into the centre of the court, though. And this time it's an unforced error on the backhand side from Coco Gauff. And she's upset with herself there, and understandably so. 30-15 Garcia. 3-2 in this second set.
This has the feel of one of those matches where Gauff really shouldn't be winning, to be honest. And if she does win, it'll be an absolute steal.
Jethro there, by the way, saying in a WhatsApp message, just said, by the way, our commentary's been excellent, but maybe that's just because we showed his tweet. I don't know.
I wonder how Isabel's doing. She must be suffering right now. She's been supporting Gauff throughout this entire tournament.
Oh, has she? Okay.
Yeah,
she will be suffering then. Someone who isn't suffering, of course, is Hanya, who'll be very pleased that Ons has made this semi-final, proving many of us, or proving Nick and I at least, wrong. Did you have Ons going that far, Jack?
No, I didn't, actually. I think I had her getting beat by Shelby Rogers, I'm pretty sure. I love getting proven wrong by her, though, and honestly, I feel like she's in just by sheer will of or sheer will of determination, basically. Because I mean, she's come back from difficult positions in all 4 of her last matches. I'm pretty sure. Tomljanovic actually, maybe not. So 3 of them at least.
Tomljanovic, yeah, exactly. Tomljanovic, she was in a sticky moment. But listen, right now we have Garcia facing break point. She's leading 3-2 in this second set and a set up, but she's actually facing break point now. 3-2, 30-40. Here we go. Garcia. Again, there's a bit of a hesitation to serve. She doesn't quite go through the service motion, but it does seem like there's been some noise. Carlos Bernardes there just saying, everyone settle down, please. Here we go. 30-40. It's a good serve to the backhand, and it's more than good serve to the backhand. It's an unreturnable. Excellent serve there at just the right moment for Garcia, meaning deuce with a 111-mile-an-hour serve.
She's been so great over the last few months at serving big on break points. That's like her go-to, basically, in terms of our USP, I guess. Best for break points saved this year out of the entirety of the tour. So wow, great. Yeah.
So she's got a reputation for saving break points. Well, she just saved another one, and now she's brought up a game point with also an unreturnable on the serve. So from being a slightly sticky moment there at 30-40, with a bit of a momentum shift seemingly going towards Gauff. She's now got a game point to take a 4-2 lead. Can she do that? Let's see. Here we go. Is she going to get the first serve in? I will let you know. Ball goes up and it goes. No, she goes slightly long. It was into the body on that serve, but this time it was slightly long. It's going a bit too big on that one. So second serve here for Gauff to look at. Here we go. As the ball gets tossed up into the air. Now that's the point I was making. Little misplaced with the toss. So she goes for a second go at that toss. But it's a second serve here for Gauff to look at. Here we go. It goes into the backhand of Gauff. Gauff, it's in, but Gauff on the defensive now. She got a backhand now as well. Another defensive shot there from Gauff. Forehand, not quite a winner from Garcia. Backhand drive volley, still not a winner. Gauff very much back in this point now. Gauff in the point. Oh, she's gone long.
No way. How did she lose that from there? She fought so hard to get back in that. I suppose the backhand pass was tough, but yeah, oh my God, what a point.
Yeah, it's difficult to take everyone through it, but basically Gauff was on the defensive, but just hanging on in there, and then there was a quick shift in momentum in that point, and basically she did really well with one backhand sort of attempt at a pass, but forced the situation for it, so it sat up nicely for her to go for another backhand attempt at the pass, but with that one she went long, and Garcia looks very, very happy there, and everything but happy is the pained expression on Gauff's face. Oh, dearie me. Nick?
Yeah. I'm not surprised Gauff's upset with that. I mean, that backhand pass was right there. I think it came off the top of the net, which didn't help.
Oh, really?
But yeah, it was like Garcia's fired up now. The way she celebrated winning that game, she's up for this now, and I'm not liking Gauff's body language right now. If she's not careful, she could get broken.
Yeah, and she goes long there with the backhand as well. So it's love 15. If this match does go away from Gauff, particularly if it goes away from her during this next couple of games, that game and those points, I mean, I think she had a break point in that game as well at 30-40, and she certainly had more chances to break as well, and that'll be the one that she'll be kicking herself over tonight if this does slip away from her right now. Currently, there's only one break, of course. It's 4-2 to Garcia in this second set. 15 all on the Gauff serve.
I am also starting to think they just trying to get first serves into play is probably the key to stop Garcia sneaking in. And if she does sneak in, that's when you deliver the sort of faster one just to push her back, basically to stop her from coming in as much as she has. And I think that adjustment is maybe what's lending herself to holding serve far easier than obviously the double break to start the match.
Yeah, 40-15 now as Garcia goes wide with an aggressive return. But that's going to happen when you play that style of tennis. Yeah, so it could be a comfortable hold here for Gauff, and she'll try and hopefully have another nibble at the Garcia serve. A second serve here for Garcia facing 40-15. Gauff serving 2-4. Wow, another meter inside that baseline. It's almost a meter and a half as she meets that. Wow, what a return there from Garcia.
How fast was that? How fast was that?
She hit that serve back with interest.
That was I'm going for it. I know I'm game point down. I may as well try.
I mean, it was Djokovic-esque from the Federer semi-final at the same venue a few years back. As Gauff, though, does close that game out with a forehand winner. But yeah, that forehand return, it becomes academic at the end of the day because she didn't win the game. But wow. Who's that lady in Coco Gauff's team? But she doesn't look very happy with her arms folded, sat down.
That's her mum.
Is it a mum? I thought it might be, yeah. Anyway, so 4-3. Jack, give us some thoughts.
Just still stunned by that return. The camera couldn't even keep up with it when it was trying to pan around to it. I'd like to see a speedometer on it. Yeah, Gauff's holding serve pretty well. She's not out for sure. I think all the tactical adjustments she's made with her serve is going well. Obviously, yeah. I don't really fancy her to win the match though, or at least win this set. I gotta say Garcia's serving so well, and as I say, first serve points for Gauff on Garcia's serve are few and far between, so it's going to be really, really difficult to break serve.
By the way, a message here from Isabel that says that we're a few seconds ahead of her, which of course can happen. Some of us are streaming. I think some of us even within this show are ahead of each other and behind each other. The great thing that you can do that Nick and Jack can't is pause us. So what you have to do is if you're watching at home, and I've done this myself when I've listened to other people streaming and stuff, and I've decided I prefer to listen to the stream, particularly if you're in a foreign country. Maybe you're like me and you're watching a match in Hungary, perhaps, and you want to hear some commentary in English from elsewhere. Well, you can pause us for 5 seconds and just get us all in sync to the stream or the cable viewing, whatever you've got, so you can get us all in sync. Right now on the US, by the way, TV, they keep showing us little background bits from the inside the stadium. So right now we've got somebody, looks like they're ordering an ice cream. Looks like it's going to be a large one. Cookies and cream I'm going for. Cookies and cream. No, he's gone strawberry. He's gone strawberry, and I'm not even kidding you, man. They're in the I swear. I don't know why ESPN cut to that. Maybe they've got some sponsorship deal. But anyway, we're going back to the match now, and Garcia is going to serve. Is she going to serve up as well as the ice cream vendor? Don't know. Let's see. Here we go. First serve. Up you go. And out. So it's a second serve. Somebody got something to say, Nick?
I was going to say, I'm enjoying the ice cream commentary, John. Like, this goes your tennis commentary.
Yeah, I think it's better.
Probably
more passion there, John. More passion.
Yeah. I love ice cream.
Okay. Double fault from your trip.
Double fault there, as you say, Jack. Good point. Love 15. So we're getting towards the end here. So it's 4-3. Garcia, love 15. Here we go. The ball goes up and it's into the net. So it's 3 faults in a row, so to speak, or 3 failures to get the ball into court. Love 15. Go on. Someone's got something to say?
Yeah, love 30 cushion would be massive here for, not a cushion, but I love 30 scalp would be massive for Gauff. Really a must-win point. Good backhand from Gauff. It's went out. Okay, yeah. So yeah, as we were talking about with Ghost of Gary Lace earlier, she's making about 50% of her first serves. You know, if Gauff can win all the second serve points, she should be the favourite to win the game. So massive opportunity here.
Something about my frozen yogurt commentary. Anyway, Isabel also says that she's dying for Coco, as in, I presume she's in great pain with Coco's predicament. Backhand there from Gauff goes long. It's good. No, it's good. It's in. Forehand down the line. Winner, though, from Garcia. You can't. What can you do, Jack?
Went into the forehands at the wrong time for sure.
Yeah.
I imagine she was trying to be more aggressive with her own forehand Gauff, and it just went a little bit shorter than she planned on it going, to be fair. So maybe not the wrong tactic, but just didn't lacking in execution.
Yeah, still 15-30 here. So Garcia to serve. Here we go down the tee, and it's an ace, 30 all. Yeah, before I got interrupted by the ice cream vendor, I was just saying that basically you can easily put us in sync with the TV. What you can't do is necessarily you could put the TV in sync with us, but one way or another, probably if we're slightly ahead, you just pause us for a couple of seconds and get us in sync. Here we go. Anyway, Garcia to serve. Down the tee she goes. It's a long, I think. It's either way, it's a fault.
Massive opportunity again.
Second serve, 30 all here. Gauff, what's going to happen? Here we go. Up goes the toss. Down the tee, backhand from Gauff. Forehand from Garcia. It's a good forehand. It's enough to basically win her the point. It's 40-30. 40-30 now. 4-3, 40-30.
I don't know if Gauff could have done anything different but keep the ball a bit deeper, to be honest. That should be the first port of call for her, I think, before she can graft herself an advantage. Just keep Garcia from stepping in, basically.
Garcia is just so confident at the moment in so many ways. 4-3, 40-30. Up goes the toss for the serve, and she goes out wide, and it's an ace. Boy, oh boy, oh boy. Nick, when is this Garcia train going to stop? When is it going to end? Is it going to end with a US Open title?
I think it will. I think we're looking at the 2022 US Open champion right here in the women's. I don't see anyone beating her, not even Iga. In fact, actually, the way Iga's playing right now, although I love her to bits and she's my favorite player, other than Federer, I don't see her beating Garcia. I'm not even entirely sure she gets to the final at this point, but this isn't about Iga. And like, look at who else is left in the draw. I think Garcia beats everyone left.
Yeah.
I think, she's certainly the favourite against Jabeur. I can see a similar dynamic to Rybakina and Jabeur playing out as it did at Wimbledon. Rybakina basically just overpowering Jabeur. By the way, love 15 on Gauff serve. I think Garcia will have too much firepower for Jabeur. I don't think Swiatek doesn't have a chance, though, Nick. I'd say that for sure.
I'm not convinced she's playing her best tennis right now. Swiatek's best tennis beats Garcia's best tennis for sure. But like, if she blows Jessica Pegula off the court, I'll reassess.
Yeah, I think Neymar is a pretty bad matchup for her, to be honest. Just a huge flat hitter that can blow players like Swiatek who can be rushed in the forehand by the biggest hitters in the game in fast conditions. I don't know. It wasn't that crazy. She lost a set. I don't think so. I agree with you. Like, she'll have to play a bit better for me to be convinced as well. But I don't think she's playing her worst tennis just based on that match. Is all I would say.
No, I'm not basing it on that match.
Who's the other quarterfinal tomorrow? So we've got Pegula against Swiatek, and the other one is
Sabalenka.
Pliskova Sabalenka. Yeah. Oh
Who
yeah.
are the only two girls left in the women's draw, who have been to a US Open semi-final before.
Okay. Yeah, Sabalenka was there last year. I remember.
So they have. Yeah, that's true.
I think she lost to Layla last year, didn't she?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Obviously, Sabalenka, Pliskova played Wimbledon semi as well. Pliskova was great in that match, so it'll be interesting to see if she can bring the same level. Yeah, one of my favourite matches from last year. So good. Honestly, Nick, it was the last time I remember seeing Sabalenka play close to our best tennis. I feel like she hasn't really brought it in a while.
Well, maybe this tournament, as Gauff double faults, it's actually looking at a reasonably. If something crazy was happening, audience, I would jump to this Gauff Garcia, but she's actually 40-30 up at the moment, so nothing crazy happening right now. But just quickly on Sabalenka, I think she's approaching it in this tournament. I mean, I would say for a set and a half yesterday. Funny enough, she had a bit of treatment on her leg at one point, but her movement looked great, and it was surprising to see her call the trainer yesterday, because actually everything seemed fine, and she proved that because she actually from that midpoint when she had the treatment on her leg for the rest of the match, she was awesome yesterday.
I'd honestly, John, I'd love to know this year if, to be honest, she's not played anything close to the tennis she's playing this year earlier on. I honestly think the comeback she pulled off against Kanepi really helps her. It makes her feel like she's playing on a second wind, like for the whole tournament sort of thing.
Agree. And really, I think nerves can be a problem for her, so anything to relax her. Listen, we need to get back to this because it's currently deuce. Gauff was looking okay on her serve. I think she had 40-15 at one stage in this game, but it's now back to deuce after an excellent point there from Garcia. So don't forget, this means that Garcia is just 2 points from victory. Gauff, anyway, goes down the tee. No, it goes long. She was going to the backhand there in the deuce court, of course, of Garcia. Here we go. Anyway, second serve, Gauff. Do not double fault. Do not double fault. She doesn't double fault. But an excellent forehand return from Garcia. Garcia again on the forehand. What can you do? Garcia again on the forehand. What can you do? Garcia again on the forehand into the net. Advantage Gauff.
Jeez, really well absorbed from Gauff. All she could do again was keep that deep. I mean, it was a barrage of forehands, as you say, John. That was a really, really well played point, and kind of how I expected this matchup to play out more often. Just Garcia's been able to put enough of those forehands in the court to win the point normally.
So game point Gauff. First serve here goes to the backhand. Backhand is a good return. Anyway, it's a forehand now of Garcia. Good defense there from Gauff. But is it going to be enough? Forehand now Gauff. It's gone long there on the volley from Garcia.
A volley off.
Yeah, it's a let off because she was kind of dominating that point, Garcia. She's on top of the net, and she had to react quite quickly. And I guess the speed from Gauff's, I wouldn't even call it an attempted pass. It was kind of at her. But the speed of that, and Garcia maybe didn't quite react quick enough. She got a racket on it comfortably, but ends up bouncing long. Nick, Garcia is about to serve for the match. Any thoughts?
Garcia's been one of the most clutch players this season. I expected to serve this out, but judging by the way she kind of overpressed a little bit on those last couple of points, it's going to be ropey. I think I wouldn't be surprised if she goes down like love 30 to start the game off, and then we're in interesting territory. So I think Garcia. I can see. I think the most likely scenario is Garcia closes it out, but it's not going to be a comfortable hold.
In tangent breaking news, I have spoken to a web application via email this week, and nothing will be done before the end of this tournament, but pretty sure by the time the Australian Open runs along, we'll have a nice looking, what do you call it? Interface? Is that what it's called? I don't know.
Yeah.
Thanks, Jax. Thanks, guys. Thanks, guys, from the 21st century. So we'll be there, and hopefully there'll be some stuff that will show the audience exactly what's going on in the match. I mean, obviously, when it comes to the latter stage of the tournament, we're just focusing on one game like today. It matters a bit less. But hopefully, if we do repeat like we did last week of the crazy early days, and we're having all of us talking about different matches, you'll be able to see it in crystal clear and a nice little interface for everyone to be able to view. It may well be up and running long before the Australian Open, but it might not be really till the Australian Open becomes useful, because obviously with the Masters and the other tournaments, there's not so many matches happening at the same time. And on the men's side, I think there's only one Masters tournament left in Paris-Bercy, unless I'm mistaken.
Yeah. I think there's only one women left as well.
Which is where? Guadalajara. Oh, the Guadalajara's got a Masters 1000, is it?
They've made it 1,000 this year, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Because it's I was going to say, John, I found out the WTA finals is not in Guadalajara. Yeah, I know. It's where is it? I can't remember now.
US,
Texas. Yeah. Okay, Garcia 7 for the match. I thought of you when I saw that news, Jack. Yeah. Anyway, Garcia 5-4, 7 for the match. Here we go. She's going to get the first serve in. No, she doesn't. Goes into the net. It's been a frequent thing today that she's thrown the ball up and not made contact with it. I don't know if that's a common thing with Garcia or not. I know we spoke about her service motion before, but we'll come to that in a minute. Second serve, Garcia. Garcia to the backhand of Gauff. Forehand, Garcia wins. And I guess in a nutshell, that's it. Backhand of Gauff has not been at the same level as the forehand of Garcia, as we show 11 winners there from Garcia on the forehand side. We have seen some winners from Gauff on the backhand, but it's not been as noticeable today as it has been at previous matches. So maybe Garcia's done a better job of avoiding that backhand. Don't know. But anyway, let's get back to the match here. Here we go. Garcia. Is she going to get the first serve in? No, she's not. Not that it had any blind bit of difference at that point before, because she's 15 love up. 3 points away now from victory. Second serve. Here we go. Into the backhand of Gauff. Forehand Garcia. Forehand Gauff. Forehand Garcia goes long. Second serve there at 77 miles an hour. Anyway, 15 all.
Yeah, the one thing I would say is her track record under pressure obviously has been great. A lot of that's to do with her serving. So now more than ever for Garcia, the first serves are super important. Because, if there's going to be a bit of tightness, I could see it coming in her ground strokes rather than her serve.
Yeah. Oh, and there you go. Good example. Perfect serve down the tee. 30-15, 2 points from victory.
Yeah, that sort of serve feels inevitable. Just it's what she's been doing all season. This next point, super important for Gauff, or it's probably done. Yeah,
30-15. Here we go. Is she going to get the first serve in here, Garcia? It's a place. Here we go. No, place at the women's semi-finals at the US Open at stake is what I wanted to say before I went all. Okay, 30-15. Second serve, Garcia. Forehand of Gauff goes big, and it's a good deep one that forces the error pretty much there from Garcia. 30 all. Maybe I'm being a bit kind on Garcia there.
No, I think that did force the error. It was a great return, actually. I didn't expect it to go in just by the height of it.
I thought the same, yeah.
I don't know if it was shanky at all. I'm sure we'll give Gauff the benefit of the doubt. I think, brilliant return. Really
Nick, any quick thoughts?
No, I'm agreeing with everything that you guys are saying. I think we've seen two great serves from Garcia, a bit of a shanked forehand, and a great return from Gauff.
Cool. Gauff just puts it into the net. Gauff did a great return. She did the hard work with the backhand return, put herself in charge of the point. She went big on the forehand, but big was too much because she went into the net. It wasn't even close. It was sort of into the middle of the net, sort of middle in terms of the height, meaning match point Garcia, 40-30. I will just hog the airways, if you don't mind, for a few seconds on this. Obviously, this could be the conclusion of the match. Let's see. 40-30, match point Garcia. Is she going to how's her nerve for the first serve? The toss goes up, but she doesn't make contact. Here we go. Doesn't matter, though. First serve still for Garcia, 40-30. Up the toss goes again. Goes down the tee. First serve is in. Backhand of Garcia to the backhand of Gauff. Into the nets. Match point. Game, set, match. Boom. Garcia is in the US Open semi-finals. And her incredible run, which has seen her win a couple of tournaments recently, and now sees her into the semi-finals in straight sets over Coco Gauff. Incredible run. What is the run exactly? I said she won a couple of tournaments. She won a Masters 1000 in Cincinnati.
Yeah, by qualifying for it as well. So
and qualifying for it as well.
So she was currently on a 13-match winning streak.
Boom, 13-match winning streak. And a 13-match winning streak, which has seen her win a Masters 1000 thanks to qualifying. But obviously that winning that 1000 meant her ranking improved significantly, meaning she was seeded here. Coco Gauff really looking, I don't know, a little sad, but also saying thank you to the crowd. She hands her wristbands to a couple of people. I'm wondering what regrets she sort of holds her head as she comes off the court. She does look rather glum, as you would expect. I wonder if she she obviously gave it her best, but I wonder if she played her best today, Jack.
Yeah, honestly, Garcia was... I thought Gauff might have been able to make Garcia look like a different player. I think maybe there were a few points where she didn't hang in there as much as she could, and there was just the odd opportunity like that moment in the last game there where offensive opportunities kind of went awry for her. She did pretty well on defense, but yeah, didn't take her opportunities when she did get them. Few and far between, though, they were.
Yeah. I'll come to you in a second, Nick, for some more sort of thoughts on this match. I see Pam Shriver there on court now interviewing Garcia. I don't know if Garcia can quite believe this 13-match winning run that she's on. And I'm sure she's skittled past quite a few significant players, of course, winning today against Coco Gauff in straight sets. She's beaten Andreescu in straight sets. She's dropped her serve, I think, just 3 times in this tournament alone. She qualified and obviously went on to win in Cincinnati. Who did she beat in the final in Cincinnati, Nick?
It was Kvitova.
Kvitova as well. So we're talking about quite a lot of players. When was the last time she played Swiatek?
It was in Poland. It was in Poland a few weeks back.
Oh, of course. That's part of the run I'm also thinking of as well. Did she go on and win that tournament?
She did win the title there. Yeah.
Yeah.
So unsurprisingly.
Yeah. So there's a couple of tournaments. That's one. I think that's an ATP 500. Was it in Poland?
No, 250. She also won a 250
WTA 250.
Yeah, she also won 250 in Bad Homburg in the week before Wimbledon. So she won 3 tournaments on 3 different surfaces in 3 months.
And this is the point I want to mention, where a Daily Mail journalist called her a nobody in the summer. When she beat Raducanu, it was written as an article that was written, said some nobody has beaten Raducanu. And boy, she's certainly not a nobody. She's soaring up the rankings. She did her customary soar as well to celebrate her victory. And she's just looking awesome. I keep expecting this juggernaut that she is. I mean, the forehand is especially like a juggernaut. I keep expecting it to fall somehow, somewhere. But she leads Jabeur apparently 2-0 on a head-to-head, I think.
Interesting. I'll find out when they've played, actually, because I can't imagine.
You check that 2-0, because I'm just seeing it. I just saw leads Jabeur 2-love. That's what it said on the screen, and I assume that's head-to-head rather than the fact they've already started their semi-final already, because that would be pretty impressive if she was 2-love up before the match even began. But if you could just check that stat for me.
I've got it here. Yeah, both at Slams, actually. So US Open in 2019, and then a few months later the Australian Open in 2020.
So both on a hard court too.
Yeah, both on a hard court. Oh, I didn't realize. I thought you were saying Garcia had won both of them. Sorry, so it was Jabeur that had won both of them.
Oh, sorry. Oh, actually, there you go. So it's Jabeur who has the 2-love lead. I do apologize. So Jabeur has a 2-love head-to-head lead against Garcia.
Yeah, it's still probably not very indicative of how the match will go. I would say.
No. Okay, that is interesting. So Jabeur's got a 2-love head-to-head lead over Garcia. Yeah, I agree, because I mean this is a very different Garcia to the one that would have played her in 2019 and 2020. Nick, any final thoughts either on this match or that upcoming match with Jabeur?
I'm with Jack. I don't. Head-to-heads are useful to a certain extent. For example, if the head-to-head is 17-0, but if 2-0 is kind of a little bit too early, you have to look at the context of what the other matches have been played in. So I completely agree. I still make Garcia the favourite, especially given that her path through has been fairly imperious. Still yet to drop a set. Only player on the left not to drop a set. And I'm looking back. I'm looking at, like, if she gets the final, I mean, going back to our earlier conversation, I think of who's left. Iga Swiatek is the only one who can stop her, to be honest.
So Iga, just quickly, Nick, Iga is playing Pegula. How do you see that one panning out?
Oh, well, I mean, I get why Niemeyer troubles Swiatek. She has the power game that would bother her and has in the past. I do not think Swiatek played well at all for the first set a bit. And she kind of scraped herself over the line by just being a bit more, changing her game to be just being consistent and getting the job done rather than playing to her strengths. So I don't know. She should beat Pegula because she's got a very favourable head-to-head record over her. But given how she's playing, given Pegula's more consistent, it's on Ash. I'm going to give the edge to Pegula. I think Pegula overturns that one and beats Swiatek and will play Sabalenka in the semi-finals.
Yeah, that'll be a good match if that does turn out that way. I think Eagle will probably have the better of that one, and I'm with you. I think Sabalenka will win hers too. An interesting point here from Ghost of. I'm going to let you, Jack, pronounce this. How is that? Ghost of.
I'm saying Gary Latis, but I've never actually heard the
Gary
famous tennis
Latis.
players. Gary Latis. I was going to say I've never heard his name out loud. Obviously,
It's,
a very famous tennis player from back in the day.
Gary Latis?
Yeah, from the 70s, 80s sort of era, right?
I think we just end up calling him Ghost in the end. But listen, this is an interesting question because actually, funny enough, I think I came unstuck with it earlier. I was actually, when I was talking about on my review of yesterday's action, which you can all check out, by the way. I posted that a few hours ago. And make sure you subscribe to the channel and you'll keep up to date with all things from New York and beyond. But yeah, I was actually just reviewing the TFO Nadal match, and I was quite keen to see how many winners that TFO hit in that particular match. And they don't pop up on the basic Google stats that show you aces and double faults and a few other bits and bobs. So he would like to know. I'm guessing this is more for you, Jack, when you're coming up with your winner stats. Sometimes they pop up on the screen, but have you got somewhere else where you see them?
Yeah, I mean, for a slam, a lot of the time you'll get that sort of information on the slam website. So for the US Open, certainly they've got winner counts on there. They don't get very specific with them for the US Open, unlike the French and Australia, where it's really, really in depth. But you still get sort of basic stuff like winners, time, first errors, and that. A lot of the time, I use Tennis Abstract for details like that. They'll have the odd match where they database the whole thing from start to finish. Basically, finals, semi-finals tend to be databased from start to finish. Loads of information in Tennis Abstract. Sometimes, at least you'll get everything else, sort of break percentages, a bit more in depth than just like first serve, second serve, and that you get in Google. There's a little bit more on there. But yeah, go on there for big matches, and you tend to get all the stats. Cool.
Thanks for that, Jack. Yeah, and I guess this is regarding the fact that 2-0 is not really enough of a sample size for us to go crazy on. But I think 17-0 or 18-0 as Nadal is over Gasquet, and I think even more impressively, Djokovic is over Monfils. I think that's enough for us to go that there's a bit of a pattern emerging. But 2-0 certainly isn't, and in fact that was something I highlighted before TFO played Nadal. I think they were 2-0 before the match of the day, or it was certainly very few matches they played before. So yeah, I think you're right. Garcia is the favourite in that one. When she plays Jabeur. So I am switching horse now. Now Gauff is out because I said that Gauff would make the final, and I even made Gauff the marginal favourite today. But how wrong I was. Any final thoughts on today's match, Jack?
Yeah, a little bit of a sad way for Gauff to go out, but I do feel like if Garcia was going to win, we were saying that with Vance yesterday, it kind of had to be in straight sets. So yeah, a Garcia win in straight sets, I guess, not too surprising. Yeah, I don't think it's Gauff's time yet. There's still weaknesses in our games, in our game that are pretty obvious. Certainly, being able to create offensive opportunities in our forehand, being the main one, and yeah, a few cracks in the serve. That wasn't really the reason for me that she lost today, though, to be fair. It was more about the forehand. But yeah, obviously Garcia as well, just way too good. I would have taken that a lot more from Gauff, I think, to win this one.
Cool. Nick, any final thoughts?
Yeah, I would kind of agree with Jack's assessment. Garcia played incredibly well. I think it was fine margins. Gauff in the second part, towards the latter end of the match, she didn't get broken again after losing that opening set. She fought well to keep herself in it and try and keep it competitive. But at the end, the margins favoured Garcia, who just played better on the big points. And Gauff was just breaking down too much, even on her favoured backhand side. So yeah, right result. Very much from this. I'm not surprised this happened at all.
Cool. Nick, Jack, thanks for stopping by. It was great having your insights and thoughts as usual. I'm off to check the US Open website to see what ice creams they will have available for me tomorrow, as long as that guy didn't buy them all. So I look forward to that, along with Sabalenka and Andrei Rublev in action tomorrow, along with TFO and a few others. So, guys, thanks very much, and I'll speak to you all soon.
No worries, John. Thanks very much.
Cheers. Bye-bye, everyone.